for a while. Guida.
I say it's a draw in the mean face contest.
And Sanchez. Oh my God! Swing! Oh my God! Unbelievable start! Oh, Diego's all over! Clay Guida's got rocked! He's going for the takedown! The knee!
This fucking uppercut he's working is hilarious.
Sanchez!
Here's awesome. Iron chin. Clay Guida, man.
Flying knee! Guida covering up! Rosenthal has the mouthpiece. They'll wait for a little stop. But Diego might not into it.
Talk about an uppercut.
Oh, see if Guida tries to duck under and go for the takedown, Jay. He's getting eaten up early. Sanchez really looking for the uppercut. What a flurry to start our main event. A ring knee.
Look at his face already.
He was definitely getting worse
Diego
though.
is all over Clay Guida with these punches. Sanchez came out dynamically. I tell you one thing, Sanchez looks much.
Oh!
Gets rocked by that kick. Wow, I thought he was out. Clay Guida's got a hell of a chin. Unbelievable drive for Guida. And the climb.
All right, guys. So we talked about Pops' fight earlier. Like I said, I'm more of an MMA fan. You know, I've seen some boxing matches. I remember watching like Tyson Holyfield when I was a kid, but most of my fighting experience, like as a fan, has been through MMA. So it was fitting that we both picked our own fight, but we both picked fights where if you watched a certain round, you would have thought that fight would have went differently than how it did. Because this fight starts out with both of them they look like they're just throwing wild haymakers. It's like 9th grade in the cafeteria and you're fighting over
Somebody says somebody, their mom
like,
or something.
Yeah, like these guys are just going wild. And that first round, Diego just shot after shot. So many of those punches, that nasty uppercut, that leg kick. Like, Clay Guida, he was bleeding profusely after the end of the first round. In the second round, I don't know, if you haven't watched this fight, definitely go and watch it. This is actually considered one of the best fights in UFC history. It's in the Hall of Fame. The second round, we were talking in our earlier fight about Aljamain Sterling not being able to get Diego Sanchez in the ground game. And in the second round, Clay Guida does amazing. He literally stops the fight from going to full stand-up. And he's not just laying and praying, as we talk about. He's constantly trying to get him. Now, Diego does a good job of, trying to get away from that. But Guida just keeps him, and every time Diego starts to get out, he gets him in another, hold, and then they're fighting for position. So the second round actually went to Guida. And then the third round, it was really close. It was a really, really close back and forth. And I think they called it right. I think Diego did end up winning this fight.
Yeah.
You know, if you based it off of one round having the most impact, I still think that first round was by far the most consistent.
Yeah. I'd have to say that first round was like a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, no. If all the rounds went like that, it would have been unanimous decision for sure. But this actually went split decision. Because he did win the second round. And it was even voted that way. It was 2-1 by the 3 judges. So,
yeah, of course, I had seen this fight back in the day, but I totally forgot about it until Cousin Jeff Rose sent it to me. And so, yeah, I would definitely say check out the whole fight. It's but the first round is really the killer round to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Cousin Jeff was saying, they just basically they started off. You can see the stare down, and you knew it was about what was about to happen. Especially from Clay Guida is a little bit different, but Diego, he's always been kind of a weird guy, and he always would bring it. Now Clay Guida would, for the best of my recollection, he would do game plans and stick and move, a lot of movement. He always had good cardio, not much power.
He was more ground.
Yeah, but Diego was kind of special back in those days, and Yeah, it was after watching that first round because I totally forgot how the fight went. So as I was sitting here watching it like a week or two ago, I was kind of wondering how it was going to go and who actually won the fight, or if it was going to end up in a knockout or what have you. And it did slow down, and Clay kind of slowed it down, turned it into a little bit more of a wrestling type deal. I also think Diego was starting to kind of tire out. The third round was super. I thought the third round was pretty close actually.
Yeah, it was.
And
that's why I said this fight was a good fight, just like his fight was. But his fight ended where Foreman was able to get a hold of Weil a couple times and end it.
yeah.
Like you said, Guida wasn't as much of a knockout striker, but clearly Diego, he has that ability.
Yeah.
But Clay Guida has an iron chin, and he took so many shots. In the second round, it's funny because you can see that Clay Guida isn't like really throwing many punches, but they keep talking about Diego's bleeding. He wasn't bleeding because Clay got him. He was bleeding because Clay was bleeding so much from that first round where he was just eating punches and kicks.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I totally respect both guys. I always liked Diego. I never really was a big Clay Guida guy. I never really liked him that well. But he was always in pretty much every fight. I don't know. Maybe it was the long hair, caveman look. I don't know. I just didn't. Or maybe because he was more of a wrestler, really.
You did say you don't like the wrestling as much, but I also think, again, it goes back to you are more fans of the conventional. The conventional fighters, not as much about long hair, tattoos. Same thing. Same reason why you respect how they fight, but as far as who you root for, you're not necessarily a Clay Guida fan.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. But Diego is kind of a classic all-time fighter. I think he's the one that won the first the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, this is actually the finale.
Oh, is that okay?
That's literally this fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because I actually watched, I only watched one season. It was that season, one season I watched. And yeah, I mean, I think everyone should check out this fight. You know what I mean? And if you're kind of a newer fan, haven't seen some of the older fights, and kind of don't know who. It wasn't that long ago. It isn't like you're going all the way back to Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys, it was, they're still around, not fighting anymore. But actually, Clay Guida might still be in the. I know Diego has fought, but he hasn't been UFC for.
Well,
years.
Diego took punishment from BJ Penn, and that changed his whole career.
God, yeah, I remember that. That's when he was coming out. Yes, all the way on the walkout, and then as soon as he got out there, freaking BJ just freaking laid it on his ass.
His lips hanging off the side of his mouth and stuff.
I mean, BJ.
It was a different animal.
Yeah.
That's actually one I'm picking at some point. You'll get to see what we're talking about.
A BJ Penn fight?
Yeah, BJ versus Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to pick that one.
I remember that fight for sure.
Yeah, because
it was domination.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a good fight. It was especially this first round. If you're into those sort of, they just come out there they just get to it. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. Those uppercuts that Diego was doing. I'm a fan. It was
you
awesome.
even hear us when we watch the clip. That leg kick.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
And it landed clean too.
Yeah.
And Clay just ate it.
Yep. And he got back up.
Yeah.
So I think personally, I think both fights that we picked tonight are classics for different reasons. But I think also they both have the same kind of thing behind them that make them classics, because how you thought the fight was going to go doesn't end up going that way. And I mean, George Foreman is an all-time great, and the UFC fight is clearly one of the best fights in UFC history for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that's all I have, unless...
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to do.
Okay.
Check him out.
Yeah, you should, for sure.